Welcome to DLP Week 7. This is a matchup between the 6-1 Montenevera Hammers and the 5-2 Postwick Pelippers. My name is Dakota. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm welcomed here by Clomps, our commissioner. How are you doing today, Clomps?
I'm doing okay. If you could just go ahead and kind of talk about the situation both these teams are in, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll keep it rolling. So these are two really heavy hitting teams that we've had throughout the season. The Montenevera Hammers 6-1, possibly the best team in the league, with a tied record with the Prerumptive. Oh man, I can't even say that. But Pickernor's team, you guys know who I'm talking about. They've got a tied record with him, and they just came off of a win in the in season tournament against the Terrakions. So possibly the best team in the league. However, the Pelipers have been on a roll. 5-2 is a very desirable record to have in this league, and they've went on a small win streak there, middle of the season. A, a lot to do with actually not even their mega, but this Espathra Delphox combo. The expanding force duo here has been really powerful for their team. So these two teams are actual in division rivals too. So this could be, the Pelipers could potentially push for the lead in their division here.
Yeah, no, it's one of those situations. Obviously, we've already talked about it. But yeah, no, PCR, he's just trying to finish out the season. He's 6-1. He knows all he needs to do to kind of win out this season is secure this last game against Lots, and there's nobody else who can really challenge him for that division, right? And Lots, he's trying to kind of come in here, sneak a little underdog win against PCR, and maybe give him a run for his money in Week 9. Obviously, Lots will be playing Artemis in Week 9, and PCR, I don't exactly remember who he's going to be playing off the top of my head, but
I believe he plays Lily Cove.
he
Is that
does.
that if
He's playing another top dog in the league. Obviously, not as big of a titan as PCR or Pakenor, but it's one of those coaches where you gotta prep against him. He will take a free win if you don't prep properly for him, right? And
and that Mega Golurk can do a lot of damage, so it's definitely something hard to prepare for. He's in my Lily Cove is in my division, so it is kind of uh, it is a personal interest of mine to see how the outcome of that game goes because it could decide my division as well. And like I said, Lily Cove's a really hard team to prep against. I know I've had to play them twice this season, so will be interesting to see how PCR finishes out this this season with the Montenevera Hammers. Yeah, and sorry, excuse me. Something that's really interesting to notice is that PCR hasn't always brought his mega. We see his mega slot empty right now. We're not really sure if he's bringing it or not. He could be replacing it with something else.
yeah, and I think it's one of those things where obviously this was just a production problem. We didn't get the team in time, so we don't actually know what that slot's gonna be. But this could be a toss-up for lots, and if I'm Lots, I'm a little scared of what's coming in that slot. Just because if PCR isn't bringing that Mega Aggron, there's a good reason for it. or there's a good
I
reason
mean,
for it, and it's because it does Mega Aggron's job better than Mega Aggron, right?
right. And it is weak on the special side. So bringing it into something like an expanding force duo, it may not be the best idea.
hmm
Um, I'm not too familiar with Panguro, but does it possibly get wide guard?
I don't think it gets wide guard. I've used it a couple times in passing for prep sessions, but I do know there's one like kind of big set for it here, and usually you want to pair it with Assault Vest, and because it has Iron Fist, you kind of just make it as bulky as possible, give it the Drain Punch, give it as many punching moves as possible, and kind of call it a day there, and just hope it does the damage that you're looking for in the actual matchup, right?
Yeah, I don't know if an assault vest is going to be enough special defense to protect it from a four times Sylveon hyper voice, though. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up those two.
Right, and it's one of those things where if you're the Postwick Pelippers, you're trying to get that mismatch as much as possible. Just because if you can get Pangoro on the field while your Sylveon is on the field, that's just not a position PCR wants to be in at all. Um, if you want to go ahead and kind of talk about the teams, kind of in general though, I think we're
Yeah,
ready
I
to do
mean,
that.
I definitely, yeah. So I already kind of mentioned it. The Pangoro is going to be really interesting to see how it pairs up with because being the only dark type on his team, it does seem like that's his counter to the expanding force. However, with that Sylveon there and the Pangoro being fighting dark type, it's 4 times weak to the special, and so I think the positioning of the Sylveon and the Pangoro is going to be really key here. And then also, PCR has actually been using his Hippowdon as if it is his Mega. Sometimes it's a second Mega on his team. I believe it's second
It
in the
is
MVP race, right
It is
behind what
just
Golurk.
trailing Mega Golurk at the moment. And I think if PCR has a really nice game with Hippowdon here, it has a shot to actually take that #1 spot from Golurk, just because Golurk had an awful game against the Lavender Town Lampins that last time. And it kind of just didn't do anything it wanted. Obviously, you are the coach of the Lavender Town Lampins, so shout out to you. But you just stopped that Golurk from being able to do anything early, and it kind of just died out.
Yeah, and well, and another Mon to look at on Montenevera's side is actually the Lycanroc because of the signature move that it gets, the Accelerock. That could be very threatening to something with, the Espathra who normally carries a sash, or the Delphox who's weak to rock types, and that could be a one-hit KO on it. And then,
Right.
the sand from the Hippowdon, like I mentioned, the sash on the Spathra possibly, that can pick up the sash at the end of the turn. So it kind of negates the whole item slot for the Espathra. But of course, the Pelipers are a really good team. They definitely know how to counter this. The Sylveon is going to be huge. I mean, with the Pangoro being 4 times weak to it, and also the Dragapult there being weak to Fairy as well, and a little bit squishy of a Mon typically.
Right.
Um, it,
And
so
it's
the fairy is going to be really interesting, and then also the Blastoise, just having that threat of like a shell smash at the end to clean up the game with water spouts. I mean, everything is going to be taking at least neutral damage except for this Rotom-Mow.
Yeah, and I think speaking on the Sylveon specifically, this is just a reminder that this is like a full items, like Nat Dex items kind of league. So this thing could potentially run Throat Spray if it just wanted to get that free boost from a Hyper Voice early on, and then just deal massive amounts of damage over the course of the game. Obviously, PCR is not one to not take care of the threats, but this thing could be very hard to get rid of if that Sinistcha gets lined up right next to it in the right situation, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would like to see, a really bulky set on the Sylveon, and then let it take a couple hits and then heal up with Sinistra, and switch out things like that.
For sure. And I think it goes to like show how good Lots has been playing with the Sinistra, but so much of this team wants to be right next to the Sinistra because it's such good support, and he's been playing it with such good support, right? He's been positioning it correctly all season. He's been getting the shell smashes off when he needed to. He's got the rage powder, and when it really needed to, it's gotten a lot of good burns from the Matcha Gotcha, and it's gotten Trick Room up. So this is just a mon that's so versatile for the Pelippers, and I'm really hoping to see it shine here today.
What is the remind me what the move is that Dragapult gets, the physical ghost move?
Um, Phantom Force.
Phantom Force. That could be a really powerful move into the expanding force. That's something to watch out for.
Right, right. And I think it's one of those things where if you're lots, you're just trying to take care of this Dragapult with your Sylveon if possible. Just because, if you don't have Sylveon for a lot of this team, that just makes this matchup so much harder for you. Especially when you have Delphox that kind of wants to clean up in the back or take care of that Rotom and maybe an Aggron if it comes. But I don't expect an Aggron to actually be brought here.
Yeah, Phantom Force could be a really powerful move against this team, just because of the fact that there's 3 Mons that are weak to a ghost move, and the rest is going to be neutral, and it hits through protect. So I mean, it's going to be, you can't protect through it, you can't protect from it, and it's going to be really hard to switch into.
For sure. And oh, that's the wrong scheduling channel. But yeah, no. Speaking a little bit more on PCR's side, I think for me, I always love Dragapult. I think it's one of the better mons in like Pokemon in general. It's helped me a lot over time. But this thing it gets Dragon Dance, which is obviously a smart strike move. So if Lots protects in one slot, it'll double into the other slot. And it's also a spread move when there
Oh,
aren't
you Dragon
protects going
Darts?
into it. Yeah, Dragon Darts. That's the one.
Yes, sorry, yeah. You said Dragon Dance, I was confused for a second.
Sorry
But yeah,
about that.
it
Sorry
probably
about
gets
that.
Dragon Dance too.
And it does get Dragon Dance if it wants to get that boost and get that extra damage off. And it's really good at that spread damage. That's part of why people love running the physical set. But we saw last week, or we saw in the in-season tournament, sorry, my bad, that PCR didn't even care about that. He wanted a special Dragapult for Pickenorth, where he ended up winning very handily, due in part to this Dragapult, right?
Yeah, Dragapult actually is a very versatile mon. It's very fast too, so it can be very threatening. And the fact that it can go special or physical is also, something that makes it really hard to prepare for.
For sure. And obviously, you've talked about the Hippo before. It's just the MVP. It's the best. It gets Sandstorm Chip. It gets Stealth Rocks. It just sits on the field. And PCR's been banding this thing for the majority of the season. So if I'm Lots, I'm expecting this thing to be banded. But it's very versatile. It can run Assault Vest. It can run Choice Band. It can run Leftovers if it really wants to. There's just so much it can do with its bulk and attack.
Well, it's been really interesting to see. I know that PCR has got a really talented prep coach. Angel has been coming up with some pretty unique sets that have been helping him out tremendously this season. So, big shout out to her.
For sure. Yeah, no, and I think that's been the biggest difference this season compared to a lot of PCR's previous seasons is that prep coaching. I think it's very under talked about in the league, especially in the first coaches. But prep coaching has kind of been the difference for PCR this season, especially when it came to like sets that beat out other teams in ways that we really didn't expect to see from PCR, right? And
Yeah, didn't we see like Hurricane from Gyarados earlier this season or something like that? Like, I mean, we've seen some really, really unique stuff from the Montenevera Hammers this season, and it's been really impressive to see how they've used their team. They had really poor draft slots in the draft, and so they kind of got everyone's leftovers at the end of each round, and so to see them to see the Montenevera Hammers overcoming that and actually just succeeding in a tremendous way has been such a cool journey to watch, honestly.
for sure. Oh, my lordy lord. My computer is bugging. How are we
You
doing
can stop
on the...
sharing your screen, and I'll watch the YouTube. Oh, I'll be behind, huh?
Yeah, you'll be behind. But yeah, no, they actually finally got into a game here. Shout out. And we'll see how this goes. Both teams obviously looking to win here. PCR's final slot actually went to Gyarados, which I actually had on it originally, but I took it off because I realized he didn't say he was actually bringing it. So yeah, no, shout out to PCR making that switch up there with the Gyarados, and
I think that's a really solid mon to bring into this matchup too. Honestly, the way that matches up into a lot of things, even the Sinistcha, who typically will eat water types, is at least neutral because of the flying type from Gyarados.
for sure,
And then of
yeah.
course, having the intimidate factor is always really nice. Unless he's going with a Moxie set, which I mean would be kind of wild.
Oh man. Alrighty. Alrighty, I told them that we're good to go, and we'll just see about trying to get this started. Man, oh man. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, no, that's about as good as we're gonna get for now, Dakota. Sorry about that.
No, I think this is great. Although, do you want to switch up the
Yeah,
sides of the
yeah. I
rotate
just
those guys?
just realized that was an issue. But yeah, no, I'm hoping to see Lots kind of do a good game here. At least make
What
it
do
a
you expect to see on the lead? Oh, I guess we'll
I'm
see the lead
expecting to
here.
see a Sinistcha and a Blastoise here as Lots leads that, and Dragapult and the Gyarados here to get those attack drops into two special attackers here. This Dragapult actually matches up pretty nicely into both Mons, as Blastoise
As does
loves...
as did the Gyarados, honestly.
Yeah, and we do see that Rage
Rage
Powder
Powder.
come out, takes that
Oh,
Shadow
it's a
Ball,
special
one hit KO. T-Wave goes into
Thunder Wave,
Blastoise,
but it
but
misses.
misses. Shell Smash
As an
goes off here.
oh man, that miss is gonna be oh, that's terrible because it would have negated the speed boost.
Yeah,
I
no.
wonder if this Dragapult is like got choice specs or something. That was a hard hit.
Yeah, no, that's hitting crazy hard.
Now he's got to
Sinistcha
get some chip on the Blastoise while dealing with the Sylveon, though.
Sinistcha's not exactly the frailest mon on the special side either. Like, obviously, it loves the physical side of things a little bit more, but seeing that do that much was
Ooh,
crazy.
protect.
Protect from Blastoise here. Shadow Ball not
Ooh,
doing nearly as much into that Sylveon. T-Wave blocked by the Protect. Hyper Voice will go off. Hits the one-hit KO into Dragapult here, and now Lots has even the score 5-5. Rotom comes out for turn 3.
Gyarados did take that hyper voice pretty well. It only took about a little less than 40%. And now the Rotom comes out, which is a really threatening mon to the
Leaf
Blastoise. One hit
Storm
KO on the Leaf
will
Storm.
one-hit KO the
Most
Blastoise.
likely, most likely scarfed after that. Outspeeding the Blastoise. Hyper Voice goes in and takes another chunk out of the Rotom and Gyarados, but they take it pretty well because the Waterfall did a decent amount of damage, and it should probably pick up the KO on the next turn on the Sylveon if it wants it.
And we will see the
We do see the
Delphix.
Delphox.
Oops, Delphox switch in here. This is actually a very nice switch, especially if you're Scarf, because you can kind of keep up with this Rotom here, and maybe even pick up a KO on Gyarados. Though this thing's very, very bulky, as we've seen so far from those Hyper Voices.
Well, I think this Rotom's got to switch out because of the special drop. Yeah, we do see it come out, and we see the Hippowdon come out, which is probably a really good
The
oh,
Protect from the
protect from the
Gyarados, Heat
Gyarados.
Wave will come out after all. Lots hoping to get a free play, but PCR does not give those out often. Hyper Voice goes into that Hippowdon, getting it under half by the end of this turn. Sandstorm does chip to everything here.
I don't know if Gyarados lives another Heat Wave, maybe. It'll be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure that Delphox is outspeeding it, but we could go for the Wave Crash on the Delphox slot while the Hippowdon picks up the Sylveon.
And we do see the Heat
Oh,
Wave
it
come out.
does.
It gets a burn on the Hippowdon,
Oh,
though,
that could be huge.
and Waterfall picks up the KO into the Sylveon here. Earthquake
Earthquake,
picks up the
interesting.
crit KO into Delphox, though it doesn't really
He
matter
says
here.
we don't care about that burn. See the chip go onto the Gyarados, but it doesn't pick it up. I wonder if PCR wanted that KO at the end or not. Well, maybe because of the Rhyperior.
Spathra Rhyperior for Lots. He's on his last two. PCR close to being down to 3 Pokemon himself, but he is in a good position after this Rotom comes back out to deal with this Rhyperior. And we see the Rock Slide kind of pick up both KOs here as it hits both slots. PCR down to 3 Pokemon. Luckily, he
It's a
is
pretty
at
fast
full.
Espathra. I think that Espathra is going to go for some expanding forces. He did get that psychic terrain up.
Yeah, and we do see Lots opt for that Psychic Terrain. This expanding force always hitting very, very hard. My question is this Life Orb Espathra, or is it just a different item on this Espathra here?
Well,
Rhyperior
the Rotom is
always...
probably sorry to interrupt you there. The Rotom's probably scarfed. Okay, so we do see this the Spathra try to get another speed boost, but the Rotom does pick up the KO on the
PCR
Rhyperior.
pressuring that slot into the Espathra with that knockoff here. You almost have to click Dazzling Gleam as a coverage move because you cannot be taking a
Oof.
knockoff to the face here. And that
Yeah.
knockoff will pick up the KO. PCR taking this game 2-0 from Lots. PCR does officially clinch his division here.
That was a pretty commanding win there too, honestly. The Pangoro in the back saved PCR. It was smart of him to keep that until he needed it, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was looking for. He was looking for that Size Spam mismatch and just dealing with everything else as is. He
Well, once the
did
Sylveon went down,
right. And I think it's one of those situations where if you're Lots, you were just trying to get as much damage off as early as possible. But with that, I'm assuming Scarf Rotom, it made it really, really, really hard for him to really try to do anything here. So, yeah, no. Big commanding win for PCR, and we'll go ahead and see if he
and
can
even
do
if
an
that
interview.
Espathra was sashed, the sand chip had picked it off, so there was not much he could do about it by the end of that game.
Right. But yeah, no, if you want to go ahead and kind of talk about the game a little bit while I try to get PCR.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I was really impressed by this Dragapult. I want to. Oh man, the miss of the Thunder, the T wave at the beginning was pretty rough. I want to know what the Dragapult had on it because I suspect it was choice specs being so hard hitting. It was interesting to see that the Pelipers didn't want to set up the expanding force too early, maybe fearing that the Pangoro might be on the lead, but I think this Gyarados was kind of the perfect check that they needed because it can it can check the Delphox really well. PCR, welcome.
Hello.
Oh,
How are you feeling after this pretty commanding victory here?
Yeah, good, because Lost Speech team is like rough to play into. Like it has some stuff that if you are not prepared for it, it can go to catch you off guard. Because I played them week one and I remember that match. Not much, but a bit I remember. I had to do some stuff to kill the Spathra. Yeah, was worried after turn one, because that was my whole plan.
Was it to get that
Like,
T wave?
yes.
Yeah, that
Um,
T wave missed, and I was like, "Oh, that's rough," because the shell smash went off. Like it didn't negate the
like, because
speed
I
boost that.
kind of knew what he was gonna click, Like, I knew the buttons he was gonna click. I was like, okay, I know the Dragapult should kill the Sinistra with the amount of damage I have on it. And I'm
Were you
like,
choice specs by chance? You had a lot of damage coming off that thing.
there may be a chance. Uh, and I'm like, I know he should die. I know Sinistra is bulky as hell, but I know he should die, technically. I'm like,
If that,
I just need the T wave to it.
I know that's rough. Only a 10% chance of missing, and you happen to roll the dice wrong. And that Sylveon took that Shadow Ball really well on the second turn too.
Yeah, has to be AV.
That is possible.
Like, because, I mean, I saw the damage 22% from, my very offensive Dragapult. I'm like, that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, no, I
What?
well, yeah, and I because I Sinistra's pretty bulky, so the fact that you had taken it out with a single Shadow Ball, I was like, oh, that's a lot of special damage. Like, I wonder how the Sylveon's gonna take it. It took it really well.
He just didn't care, yeah. But, good stuff that it worked out in the end, even with the T-Wave fail. Uh, my team has a lot of chances and stuff, so missing them is gonna happen. Happened against
Yeah,
Picanor too, and managed to get it anyway. The win this time too. It's good to have wins where you're like, oh, I could have even gotten luckier.
the Gyarados seemed to be a really good check. It kind of held that corner there for your team for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean it's the second time I've been using him in draft. I had him season one, and I don't know what is it with me and this Pokemon. I like it. Like it just has so much, you know. It has
Y-
good damage. It has a great ability. It has good typing. Because yeah, you die to some electric moves, but aside from that, it's a good switch in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and the fact that you can use Earthquake next to it too is really nice on your team.
Yeah, yeah. No, good to have the crit on the Delphox, I'll be honest. That was nice to have because I was burned
Because you
from it
burned.
with all so I mean at that point it's kinda fair, you burn me with it wave, I crit.
It evened out, yeah.
I'm okay with that, I'm not even gonna be like, oh so sorry. I'm like, no, it's good. It's just deserved.
It is nice to see, the RNG balance itself out every now and then.
Yeah, because it happened in the same turn. I think I was like, okay, never mind.
I mean, if it was your
Not gonna
typical
complain.
banded set, I don't know if it mattered or not, but
Uh, I don't know if I want to say it.
I I forgot you got burned mid commentary actually. But yeah, no, if I could go ahead and ask you a couple questions about playoffs and kind of wrap
Go
this up.
on.
Yeah, no, obviously you've had a really nice season. And we were talking about Angel a little bit earlier. But how much has Angel been uh influential to your team building at this point in the season, and how much do you think she'll play a role when playoff starts?
Okay, so the first question, how much has she been influential? A lot. Like, the teams are basically made by her. Like, I'm just the guy who clicks the buttons. I mean, I do help obviously in the team building phase when we do meet up and manage to get the stuff together. Now, some ideas have been mine in the teams, um, especially if they are stall adjacent. y- Like when you see the team and you see the plays I do, like if you see something very stall adjacent during team building, I propose that. If you see something very offense adjacent, she proposed that. It's a yin and yang situation. Um, but yeah, no, she's been great because like especially doing the spreads. The spreads have been so good. Like because I mean last season, like I was doing atrocities in the builder. I should have been banned
Committing war
for doing
crimes.
spreads. No, like I need to send those Mirai on spreads. Like the sources were like I dreamed it. It's
That's too
like
funny.
It's a little
But that's
crazy.
good
yeah,
that you have someone that has balanced you out like that.
But yeah, at this
yeah, no,
point,
like
oh, sorry.
hold
Um,
on.
I was gonna try to
No,
move on.
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
gonna
no, no,
answer the
no.
second part of the question,
Go ahead.
and which is like,
Go ahead.
what about playoffs? It's gonna be even more important, I think, because it's gonna change from match to match, and like rematch. I've had struggles in the past with rematches, but like this season I've won them, especially the one against Picanor. It's the really important one because we had to change something. Managed to, and but like most of it was kind of the same because the first loss against Picanor wasn't the matchup being interpreted wrong. It was more like, I could have played better. And changing a couple of things to make the matchup a bit better, and then we won.
And I think
Yeah, I
this
mean
is
sometimes
like
I would.
the first time you've really been on this side of the coin. Usually you take the first blood and then, people have taken the like revenge games on you is how it's usually worked. I think we saw it a lot with Peveril as well. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm glad to see you kind of moving up in the world and kind of being the top dog going into the playoffs for season 3. Obviously, you've secured the first seed by a mile. There's nobody in the Lappers conference who can even touch you at this point. Lots goes down 5-3. And you're 7-1 and there's no one else who can actually do anything. So how you feeling about that?
Yeah, I want to see what the bracket will look like because I think I'll have the second round of play-ins against me in the first round, or I don't remember how the bracket works
You will be
this year.
playing the lower tiers, so third place in divisions, whoever wins out of that group. Um,
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. So the second round of play-ins winner. Okay, yeah. Yeah, really excited to do that. Really excited to be in playoffs, first off, and to not be second seed for one time, and also, not having Peverell on the same side of the bracket as me is something nice to look ahead to.
I mean, you've actually been my favorite coach to watch this season. It's been really fun to see like how creative you are with your team every week.
Yeah, no, like I love my team. Like when I was drafting it with Angel, I didn't see any direction we could have gone into. Like we managed to find one where like somehow Powdon is our main mon, like the one everything
It's
around revolves around.
it's just really interesting because like you look at your team and like it's not overly threatening in my opinion, right? Like I'm not like there's not like a single mon on there where I'm like, ah man, I really got to worry about this. But in reality, I got to worry about how you use every single one of your mons. Like it's more about the coach than it is about the Pokemon that you have on your team.
I
Yeah,
think
also some mons that I've like I don't know I don't have an example of a mon right now, but like it's it's kind of when you play VGC, no, and you look
I
at the
just think it's cool
six
that
of the
you're
other
like the
team.
true definition of a coach. Like you've really brought out the best in your players,
Yeah,
in your team.
like some of my mons have that effect where you're prepping for the team and you're like, oh, I cannot leave that unchecked. You know, it's like when you go on Champions VGC and you find someone with Basque Legion and you're like, yeah, I need to bring something in case they bring it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And some of my mons have that thing going on, which helps.
Yeah. You just have all of the tools that you need.
I think that's gonna be the end of it for me. Congratulations on securing this win and kind of keeping lots out of arm's reach of the division at this point. I'm looking forward to seeing what you and Angel can do in playoffs, and hopefully this inspires a lot of teams to kind of go and try to find their secret prep coach to help them improve.
Yeah. Congratulations on another impressive victory. Good job.
Woohoo!
Well, and I mean,
I
with
do you
you
wanna?
want to wrap it up?
You can wrap it up.
Well, with that, we conclude our Week 7 matchup between the really impressive Montenevera Hammers and equally impressive Postwick Pelippers. Both coaches did a great job this week, and Montenevera Hammers just kind of have their secret weapon when it comes to their prep coach, and it's been really paying off for them this season. So, congratulations to them, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fun and exciting week in the DLP League.
For sure. I'm Clomps.